Hey guys, Tammy here. And in this video, I want to talk to you about vision. Now, I've been kind of focused on the struggling issue the last few days, as you know, if you've been watching some of the videos. And the reason that vision is important is because, you know, we have to understand that in order not to be hopeless, in order to be able to have hope, you have to latch on to some vision for your future. The Bible says, without vision, the people perish. We don't always think about this in the context of how it keeps us moving forward, because people are happy when they're making progress. If you feel stagnant in your life, if you feel stuck, then it's going to be very difficult for you to be happy in that situation because you're not making progress. And this is why it's so easy to get stuck in child custody situations, because it's the same pattern repeating itself over and over with your high conflict ex, right? And so we feel stuck in that dynamic and in that struggle with our ex. We don't really have any kind of vision of that changing, or if it's even possible for it to change, or how it could change. And so around that particular issue, we can start to feel really, really hopeless because we don't have any concept of how it could be any different. This is one of the things that I really work with people on of, what if you could actually create a boundary and a cocoon for yourself to where you were able to have peace in spite of your struggle with your ex? What if you could handle things in a way that gave you the confidence to know that if you went in front of the court at this very moment, that you've done everything the way that you need to and that you're going to have the upper hand in that situation? What if you could handle things in a way that shuts down the manipulation and the bullying? Or what if you could even learn that, okay, these things come and they still happen, but they don't bother me anymore? And this is a big struggle that I see in a lot of clients. And all of these things have to do with your vision of the future and your mindset and how you're approaching the situation. Because if you're seeing this as, this person is doing this to me and they're always going to, and I don't have any control over that, and there's nothing I can do to change it, then there's no vision in that, right? And you feel hopeless and you feel stuck. But if you can say, look, if I can learn the right things, if I can gather more tools, if I can change the way I'm viewing this, if I can learn to let go of certain aspects of this, then I could be happy. I could not be stressed out every time I get a message from this person. I could have some hope for my future. What do you want that future to look like? What is your vision? Take your focus off of whatever your ex is doing, whatever they're saying, and how they're trying to intrude into your world, and put the focus on what you want to accomplish and what your vision is for yourself and for your children. Thomas has said a lot of times, like, is anybody going to get to the end of their life and in regard to their divorce or child custody, say, oh, I wish I'd gotten a little bit more money, or I wish I'd fought a little bit harder for this holiday or this day for the exchanges or this parenting schedule or whatever? Probably not. That's probably not going to be something that's in your mind. Really, what you have to do is to try to get focused on what you do want that future to look like in a big picture way. So if you've got your kids, what do you want for them in their life? Do you have an idea of, whether you want them to go to college or what you think they would be good at, or how you want them to show up in the world, or the strength that you want them to have? Or for yourself, what kind of career do you want? What kind of home do you want? Where do you want to live? What kind of car do you want to drive? All these different things that we start talking about starts to create a vision for you. And not that these things are our identity, right? We talked about that in the last video. So not that we want our goals, so to speak, to become our identity, but we do want to have a vision for the future of what we want to accomplish and what we want to surround ourselves with. And when you're doing those things, you're going to be able to show up as the highest level of yourself, your highest ability to serve others and contribute. Because if you have these visions for your kids and you know kind of the direction that you personally want to steer them in, then you can break that down in the day-to-day of what do I have to do right now to help lead my child down that path. And I'll kind of go back to a biblical example. I know I've kind of been using those a lot lately. It's kind of what I'm steeped in given my crisis right now. But like with Thomas's kids, one of the things that he said, and I talked about this at his memorial, is he said, it's really important to me when I die that people say I was a follower of Jesus Christ first and foremost. And secondly, that I always had so much joy. He wanted to be seen as a very joyous, happy person. And I think he accomplished that. So if he knows that being identified as a follower of Jesus Christ is the most important thing for him in his personal identity, it would stand to reason that that was also something that was very important with him with both of his children. And it was. How are you showing up on a daily basis if that's what you're trying to instill in your children? You're showing up by doing daily, Bible reading with them and studying with them and having family worship and making they attend church on Sundays and all those little things that go into that bigger vision that you have for that child. If your vision is that your child is going to go to, Harvard and be a lawyer, let's say, then, probably then you're going to start really early on with academics and getting them into the best schools and, doing all the things that you can to sort of further their education and increase the likelihood that they're going to have that opportunity. Now, granted, if they don't want that opportunity and it was your vision, they may not necessarily follow through on it. But, you aim really, really high. And then even if you don't make the entire goal, you're still better off than you would have been if you didn't aim high in the first place, right? So we always kind of want to push our children because they're capable of a lot more than they realize usually. You want to act on a daily basis in accordance with what your vision is for them and also your vision of your life. And again, like we discussed in the identity video, this is going to teach them how to create their own vision for their life and how to set goals and how to accomplish them on a day-to-day basis. If you can do that for yourself as well. One of the things that happens is we go through these seasons and, these are the times that really strengthen us. So when you are working towards a vision and you have a setback, I always think that's a great thing to discuss with your children. Just like Thomas's children are grieving right now, as am I. And so I'm trying to talk to them about that and talk about how do we deal with this? How do we view it? How do we tap into our faith in this time of struggle and try to get through it? Because again, this isn't going to be the last struggle that the children go through in their life. This just happens to be a struggle that I'm present for and that I'm experiencing also with them and that I can try to help guide them through. But again, if you don't have that bigger vision, you're not going to be able to withstand those storms when you get down into letting the day-to-day of things really overwhelm you and cause you to not be able to be present for what's going on. So I would encourage you to do things like create a vision board, journal, all those types of things that they tell us that can help us really, and I'm not a big journaling person, but I do find if you can just sit down and let it flow and don't try to stop it and don't try to monitor it or make it something that it isn't, just let yourself flow. You can always go back and rewrite it later and get it in more specific terms for yourself. but really creating this vision and this long-term picture of where you want to go and where you want your life to be is going to help you in those day-to-day moments. And I love having a vision board and having it in my office in full view so that as I'm trying to serve my clients and show up at the highest level, I have these reminders of why that's important to me, because your why is what will keep you pushing towards your vision, even in those times of struggle. If you'd like to learn more about my coaching services, please go to divorceuniversityonline.com/VIP-coaching. You can book a free strategy session with me and learn more about how I might be able to support you on this journey. I'll talk to you all in the next video.